Hello everyone, I'm Alan, also known as McLaren 2009, and today I'm playing Stormworks Build and Rescue. Haven't played this one on stream, but I used to make a lot of videos about it in the past, and today I decided I want to build something along the same lines of some of the other systems that I've made, but I'm going to do it live, so you can kind of see how my bizarre thought process goes into making these things. So today, what I want to make, I already made a secure data transmission system where you can send and receive number data from one vehicle to another vehicle, and it uses an encryption cipher to convert from intelligible, usable data to something not usable. And then on the other end, if you have the same exact system, you can then decode it so that you can read it again. But I don't have any system like that for video. Now, I know the game doesn't allow you to do, like, encryption on, like, the video data itself, just like we can't do any encryption on audio data. But I was able to make an improvised secure voice radio by varying the frequency, and you never actually know exactly what frequency it's set to unless you look at the antenna. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to create a two-part system, a transmitter and a receiver. And it's going to be simultaneously sending a video feed on two different channels. So there'll be an A antenna and a B antenna sending video on two different channels. And then only if you type in the passcode can you get the second video feed. So let's get started. First of all, we need to go down here. We need some platforms to work with. 2, 3, 4. Now, realistically, this is going to be way too big. Alright, now this should be 11, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Alright, so what I'm thinking is the transmitter... Oh, wait, nope. All three are gonna... It's like they're all gonna need two antennas. Alright. So let's build a console. Did I do it wrong? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I made it too big. Okay. We're good. 1, 2, 3. we're not going to need this much space, but since I've started putting my actual test sets on the workshop, I'm going to put these on there just to be safe. Okay, so we need... Ah. Okay. Transmit, receive. Okay. But that's not enough. We also need a regular antenna. Although given this range, it's not going to need to be big, but we'll worry about that later. Alright, I need batteries. There, and there. Okay, so we need to get rid of that. This is going to be a system that's going to be basically on by default. And what I mean by that is it's going to be encrypted by default. Or it's going to be secure by default. Like my data transceiver, or transceivers, because I now have two, essentially. I mean, it's the one broken down into two components. But that's another thing. And my... secure voice radio, they both have a separate key panel, or they have a separate control panel to set the encryption key, and this isn't going to have that. It's just going to have it by default. So what we need is a small keypad. And an instrument panel. And we'll keep it simple and only put it on 10 channels. It won't be all that secure, but honestly, the system's not going to be particularly useful. So change this to passcode. Passcode. No, wait, no. Shorten everything. make your life easier. 7 segment. Yeah, it's always number. Channel 2. I gotta remember how to do this because I haven't played it for a little while. System power. As a matter of fact, let's just take this whole thing, stretch it out to there. Before we do that, let's change the color a little bit. Copy. Paste. Alright, now the difference is gonna be that the transmitter is gonna have something. It's gonna have something a little bit. It's gonna have one more button. And I think we can get by with just a toggle button. TX on. Okay. So, in theory, this should be everything that I need in order to make this system work. So now we need our microcontroller. Alright, now I'm thinking it's only going to need to be like 2 by 3. We're probably not going to need a lot. Okay, so what we need is we need a video input. I'm trying to think. I might be able to do it with just a small monitor. I'll wait and see. Let's go secured, because it's not being encrypted per se. Alright, video to be transmitted. Yeah, actually this... nope. It's gotta be bigger. Make it 3 by 3. Alright. Because that's gonna be from control panel. Output. Alright, so we need a instrument panel, both to and from the instrument panel. Alright, this is going to be a number input. From keypad. Set passcode with keypad. Basically, this is what's going to determine what code you need in order to access the video feed, or at least that's the idea. Alright, so this will be video TXA. It might still be too small. TXB. Output to if I learn how to spell. Alright, because I think the way that the system works in-game, you have the frequencies for the radio systems are kind of like in layers. It's not like in real life where you have, say, a set frequency as in like a bandwidth. Oh, no, actually, I'm streaming on both Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. I'm doing a dual broadcast. I made the decision to do it this way because I used to make a lot of videos on YouTube specifically for Stormworks. And I've gotten comments in the past where people were looking forward to more like Stormworks content. So I decided that since I've been streaming more, I got this crazy idea that I was going to make a secure video transmitter and receiver to go with it. And I decided that would be a pretty good candidate to go live on both YouTube and Twitch to save myself the trouble of having to switch the VOD over to YouTube. So yeah, now I am building the transmitter portion of my secure video system. If I get it completed and I'm happy with it, I will upload it to the workshop and people can download it. Alright. I'm thinking I might need a fourth section. Alright, let's just preemptively make it bigger. Alright. We're gonna need... But... yeah, the game, it doesn't work like you would think it does. This actually works for me because piss poor internet on Twitch barely functions, but YouTube is fine. I'm not sure what would be causing the delay. It's hard to say. Although it's kind of weird because I have it set up in Streamlabs so that I'm just viewing the Twitch chat so I can still respond to it, but the chat is still appearing on the screen, so it's showing up for the stream. It's just not showing up in my box because I can't respond to it if I click on the multi-stream thing. So anybody watching can see what you're saying, and I can see it if I look fast enough. But it'll be kinda hit or miss with accurately responding to any questions. It's part of the reason why I don't do the multi-stream very often. But yeah, as I was saying, the frequencies in Stormworks are more like layers than they are frequencies. So instead of being like on a specific bandwidth, like say 5 megahertz, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of like layers, kind of like photo editing or something like that. So what I'm thinking is I may just need 2 number outputs for the frequencies. So you have the frequency for video A and video B, and then the frequency that the passcode is transmitted on can probably be the same frequency as, say, video B. I don't know if it'll cause a conflict with the video transmitter transmitting on that same frequency because it's still sending 2 different things. Like, I think you can have an audio antenna on frequency 1 and a data antenna on frequency 1. It just causes conflict if you're telling them to transmit at the same time. So we're going to test it and see if it works like that. TX A frequency. If it doesn't work like that, I'll have to modify it a little bit. Frequency to B antenna. Alright, we need... Actually, this does have to be an input, a number input, or a binary input. From TX switch. I'm actually kind of curious, because what I'm thinking is the circuit or the microcontroller for the transmitter might end up being bigger than the receiver, because the transmitter is slightly more complex. But kind of have to play it by ear and see how it works out. Alright, that is... TX power. Output to activate transmitter. Alright, and this will be system power. Activate lights and monitor. Okay. This is going to be interesting. Alright, so... Okay, let's start working on the control panel first. Alright, we need composite read on off. This will be 1 and 3, and this will be 4. Alright, we need pulse. Ah, that's gonna be interesting. Luckily, I know how to do that. Alright, basically the thing that I was just thinking of is I'm going to use a counter circuit to do the frequencies, but the frequencies aren't going to be identical. Like, say, hypothetically, this will be frequencies 0 through 9, and this one will be frequencies 10 through 19. That's not the range I'm going to use, but hypothetically that's how I want it to work. And I can put this up here. I guess realistically I could have done it so that I just turn on the transmitter with the system, but I figure you'll have more control this way if you have a separate switch to activate the transmitter. Alright, so clamped between 0 and 10. We need a threshold gate. 9.5 to 10.0. That'll reset. Alright, and then we need X plus 6,000, X plus 6,100. Basically, I want to set it at a range that nobody would... Actually, that's a bad idea. Let's change that to... Let's make it 5. I haven't used 5 yet. I want to put it at a range nobody would generally set their radio to. So you don't just find it scanning through frequencies. You put it at like some absurdly high number for a little bit of security. Okay, and then we need right number. Let's start on 2. I forgot a step. Clamp between 0 and 9. Okay, control panel. Hello there, welcome to the stream. I'm currently attempting to make an avionics system that is going to act as a secure video transmitter, and then I'll also make a receiver so that you can send and receive video in Stormworks without it being watched by anyone who doesn't have a or doesn't have the passcode. So basically, if you're not an authorized user, all you're going to get is a black screen. Yeah, multiplayer gets a little bit weird at times. Oh, I need a video transmit, or I need data to transmit. it's not big enough. Again. Composite output. I don't actually know, to be completely honest. I think with the dedicated server... Well, I mean, if you're running a dedicated server, then your computer is just acting like a server. But if you're running just a multiplayer game, you can just play and have people join. And then you can set up like a password so that only people you know join, so you don't just have like random people jumping in. I think you can do it both ways. Although I don't think you can play while running a dedicated server. I think if you wanted to do that, you would have to be playing from multiple computers simultaneously, but I think that's just the nature of how a dedicated server works. But don't quote me on that. I'm by no means an expert. Sorry if I can't help too much. To data antenna. Yeah, and it doesn't help that Stormworks is a little bit rough sometimes. But I think it's more so a load on your internet than on your laptop. I don't know. I've never really run a dedicated server in any game I've played. I've always done the direct route where you just like host a game and then have your friends join. I've done that, but I don't do too much with dedicated. Then you might be fine to just do it playing and hosting a game that your friends can join instead of doing the dedicated route. The dedicated route would be more so if you're doing something else but your friends want to play. So you set up your computer to act as like the hub for like your game. Your friends join the game, and then you do something else. At least I think that that's how it works. Alright, we need another number right. Alright, we need a dummy Lua block. basically this Lua script will serve no purpose. It will draw a black box, and that's it. Alright. Let's go secure video transmitter. And then the receiver, oh, my knowledge in Lua is just limited to drawing things in Stormworks. My only attempt at actually writing real code comes from my 300 hours using the editor for Arma 3, and I've accomplished nothing doing it. I am like the last person you should talk to about Lua. Like, logic? I can do logic, but as far as Lua specifically, not a chance. Alright, now let's make like, for instance, if I showed you this, my scripting knowledge is I can do stuff like this. I can do basic math, and I can draw stuff to make it appear on screen. But that's basically the extent of what I know about scripting. Alright, I need a new microcontroller. Well, you've already got me beat. I don't know anything other than Lua. Alright, so this will be secure video receiver. And then my knowledge base that I use to come up with my crazy ideas in Stormworks all comes from being an aviation electronics technician for the United States Marine Corps. Let's just start with that for right now. so in order to make this, I'm gonna need... I better make it 3x3 just to be safe. Gonna need... input from control panel. Keypad. Passcode to access video. Alright, now we need RXA input from RX antenna A. RXB RX data input passcode from data antenna. Oh, and then this one doesn't have a transmitter. But it's going to need to be bigger. RXA freak. Receiving frequency A. You know what? It might actually be just fine like that. This will be system power. Activate lights and monitor. Okay, we'll see if that's enough logic. Oh, wait, nope, it's gotta be bigger. Because we need the video output, otherwise none of this is gonna work. Output, received video feed. Alright. Now we should have enough logic to make this work. Alright, let's go up here. Alright, 1, 3, and 4. At least the good news is I still remember how to play. I guess it's kind of like riding a bike. You never truly forget. Alright, system power. We need pulse. We need a counter circuit. Clamped, 1 and 10. Threshold, 9.5, 10.0. Reset that. Alright, clamp between 0 and 9. X plus 5,000. X plus 5,100. Oh, and then we need... Oh, you can? Interesting. I mean, I guess it would kinda make sense. Hello. I'd say it's going pretty good. It's a little bit slow because I'm mostly just messing with logic right now. But what I'm working on is building a secure video transmitter and compatible receiver. Basically, I want to have it so that you can send a completely useless black screen and a live video feed, and you'll only see the live video feed if you type in the correct passcode. So it's not encrypted, it's just secure in like the same way that my secure voice radio is secure. And truthfully, that's only secure because it uses a substitution cipher to change out the frequency. But this isn't doing that. It just has the frequency way out there, so that you won't generally look at it. Well, it's a good thing you figured it out. Alright, what was I doing? Oh, number. Composite right number. Start channel 2. You go right there. Alright. So, we need RxA, RxB. Okay, we need to read a number. Just building a dedicated server in Lua, it's tough. Yeah, I can't even imagine doing that. My knowledge of Lua is just using the draw feature in this. Okay, now we need an equals block. That should be fine. We need a video switch. Video on, video off. Yeah, I've never even played Roblox, so I know even less about that. My first attempt at coding was Arma, and I failed at it. All I wanted to do was make a mission where the plane would like fly over like a waypoint and then get everybody to eject or to parachute drop out of the back of the plane, and I could not do it. It just would not work for me. Alright, so in theory, this should be enough. Alright, let's change this to receiver. Oh, and then we gotta load the transmitter because it's gonna bother me that this isn't uniform. Although it's not gonna bother me nearly as much as this. Okay. So, now we have our controllers set. This isn't required, it's just my own weird thing that I like to do. Alright, so we need... Alright, secure video. Nope, not there. And secure transmitter. Alright. Now, in theory, if I did everything right, this should be all that it takes. Well, actually, we need one more thing. We need a video to transmit. Camera. Okay. Okay, then we go over here. And just for the sake of argument, we'll connect them all. Alright, so we have control panel, control panel, control panel, control panel, control panel, control panel, received data, transmitted data. Alright, and that sets up all of the composite video, RXA, RXB, TXA, TXB, RXA, RXB, to monitor, to monitor. Or I should say video to transmit would probably be more accurate. Okay, now for the fun part. Okay. Alright. That should settle that. Passcode. Hello. Thank you for following. We're going to find out soon enough if I can have the passcode transmitted on the same frequency as the actual secure video. Oh, and transmit. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, the video antenna isn't powered. It's just always on? Alright, fair enough. Okay. So let's set this as secure video test set. Let's spawn this in. Well, that's useful. All right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. They're on 1, they're on 1. Alright, I still know how to do it. Alright, now, this one is not on, so let's put it on 1. It's currently getting snow. So, basically, it already works. I set out to make a secure video transmitter and receiver, and it just works. Okay, let's change this to 321. Put it on channel 2. Alright, so, awesome. Achievement unlocked. I did exactly what I set out to do. Basically, what this is doing is I have a video transmitter, a video receiver, and it requires 2 antennas on the transmitter side, 2 antennas on the receiver side, a 3rd antenna if you include the data receiver. And basically, you have antenna A and antenna B. Antenna A is transmitting a worthless black screen, or more accurately, apparently it's transmitting snow. I didn't even know that was an option in the game, but we're transmitting snow, okay? And the transmitter is sending out a passcode set from the vehicle side, and it's being transmitted out with the video on 2 different frequencies. We go over here. Is it page up? 5002. 5102. Okay. Does it say what the... It doesn't say what the code is, so it's still secure. And it doesn't tell you which one is which, so it doesn't say which one's A and which one's B. So even if you were scanning through all the frequencies trying to figure out which one is which and what's going on, you wouldn't know. You would have to go to frequency 5102 and 5002, and then you'd be able to see that video is being transmitted from both channels, so there's a signal on both channels, but only one of them is intelligible. And basically, you're only going to see it if you type in the correct passcode. So, like, this one is currently set to 1, 2, 3. We put it on 2. Oh, no. Alright. Okay. Already got our first bug. Okay. Alright, so what is wrong? Alright, so basically it's not ready to go to the workshop just yet. Is the transmitter even on? Oh, that's what the problem is. Or that's a problem. I mean, I get... thank you for the follow. Alright. Why is this not doing what I want it to do? Alright, save. Spawn it. Okay. Turn on this. Turn on this. Alright, let's put it on 1. Alright, if I set the frequency, or set the passcode to that... But it's not even transmitting. Okay. Alright. So, we got a problem. It's literally doing the exact opposite of what I want it to do. It's supposed to be that it's only activating... You're only supposed to see the video feed when you type in the passcode. Yet, it works when the transmitter is off. Alright. Oh boy. Alright. So... it just kinda does its own thing? Oh, no, they're on two different channels. The problem is, I'm trying to make it so that it only activates the switch if it's receiving... this has to be transmitting a passcode. It's being received by this antenna, and then once you type in that passcode, it's supposed to switch from video A to video B. You know what? I think I know what the problem is. Alright. Let's go back into here. Video B is on. Yeah. Alright. This is gonna be weird. But this is why you do these things. Okay. So, it currently is not secure. It's just sending the not coded video. Alright, so we set the password. We transmit the password. Okay, so they are now receiving snow. He is not receiving snow. And type in a wrong password. Still receiving snow. Okay, we've prevented me having a psychotic break. You know what? Let me double check my video feed. It's not secure in the sense that it's like encrypted. It's secure in the sense that you have to find the right channel, and then if the system is installed properly, without the passcode, you'll only see the snow. Yes, that's actually the whole idea. If you're transmitting video, it can only be seen by someone who has your passcode. Alright, let's look at video. RXA, RXB. TXA, TXB. Yeah, in theory. But the catch is they have to have it set up on the right frequency. So it's somewhat helpful in that regard. Alright, TXB, TXA. Do I have it crossed in the... Yeah, and I specifically went up into the thousands for my frequencies so that you wouldn't just find it arbitrarily. You would have to find the specific antenna, look for the information to find out what channel it's transmitting on. And go from there. Alright, so everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Transmitting on A, transmitting on B. I have actually seen, I think there are at least 2, maybe 3 people that have made frequency scanning systems. I know of at least one because, no, that was a guy who made a jamming pod. Basically, he found my video for my secure data transceiver that uses a very rough substitution cipher and encrypts 6-digit numbers on 10 composite frequencies, or 10 composite channels for a given radio frequency. I have not made a single system that uses all 10 channels. The most I've gotten up to is 4. But the bottom line is I made an encryption system so that you can send secure data that can only be interpreted by someone who has the key to decode it. But to my knowledge, there isn't a system where you can... Yeah, to my knowledge, there isn't a way that you can encrypt video or audio in the game. But at the same time, I don't think there'd be much of a use for it, if I'm being completely honest. So, then why did it... I don't understand why it did... Why did it do the exact opposite of what I wanted? It truly makes no sense. Alright. So, turn this on, turn this on. And then this one doesn't matter. Which, actually, realistically, if I want to save space, what I could do... Delete that, delete that, delete that. Because all this is just a... That's just showing you what the unencrypted video looks like. So instead of having like the monitor like I have on the receivers, I can just do just a 1x1 and it would be just fine. So, there... And we need power. Alright, TX on... No, we need electricity. Yeah. Alright, sweet. Alright, so it's secure-ish. Alright, now let's spawn this in. On. Okay. So, let's set this. It now has a passcode. It's now active. So, if you don't have the passcode, you can't see the video feed. So we go over here, type in the passcode. We see the video. Easy day. And because it was being very weird earlier, we'll put in the wrong passcode, and we still can't see the video. So, awesome. Alright, so basically I just got this bizarre idea last night, and I was just like, I'm going to try and see if I can make a video transmitter that's along the same lines as my quote-unquote secure voice radio. And, well, I set out to do it, and clearly I have accomplished it. So, good job. Now, obviously, I'm gonna have to, I'll tune it up a little bit, make it look a little prettier, and then I'll upload both controllers to the workshop. Because it works exactly how I wanted it to work. It was kind of interesting that you don't have to turn on the transmitter, or you don't have to turn on the video transmitters. They're just always on, which is a little bit weird. So maybe I'll have to put like a relay or something so that they're not drawing power. In fact, let's test that out and see if I can even do that. Alright, I know there are about 3 blocks. Alright, relay. Electric relay. Okay, disable that. Alright, I don't know if this is gonna do what I want it to do, but we'll know soon enough. Alright. So, if the video antenna are always transmitting, let's make it so they only transmit when we want them to transmit. Alright, sweet. So we have an added layer of protection so that it's only transmitting when you want it to transmit. It's so weird that you have to put in a relay in order to make these not transmit. But the bottom line is I can take any video feed and I can now transmit it to another location and only have people view it that I want to view it. In theory, you could hunt down the frequency and find out which ones are transmitting, but you'll find out that there are 2 antennas on 2 different frequencies, and both are transmitting simultaneously. So then you have to figure out which one is getting the video signal and which one is getting snow. And thank you for the follow. You're kind of joining in towards the trailing end of the stream. Hello to you as well. Basically, what I set out to do was I wanted to make a secure video transmitter and a secure video receiver for that transmitter. So the system that I came up with is I have a transmitter and a receiver. Both systems require 3 different antennas in order to operate. It requires 2 video antenna and a radio antenna functioning as a data antenna. Secure-ish. Yeah, that's kind of like, with the exception of the secure data transceiver, that actually does what its name implies. The voice and video transceivers, they're secure-ish. That might actually make a colorful addition to it when I put it on the workshop. But the way that it works... would you believe that my inspiration for these projects came from what I did in the military? Officially, my job title, I was a Communication, Navigation, Cryptographic Systems, and Deceptive Electronic Countermeasure Technician. Although, truthfully, I preferred being a hazmat supervisor. I deployed. I did my actual job on the Love Boat for 3 months. But basically, we have two transmitting antennas. Yes, I was in the U.S. Marine Corps for 4 years. I was in the Air Wing as an aviation and electronics technician. I fixed radios that came out of planes. So basically, translate that over to what I did in Stormworks, and I pretty much specialize in radio-based systems in-game. So I've made navigation systems, communication systems, and I recently started... Well, it wasn't recently, it's been a couple years now, but I attempted to give myself a crash course in very basic cryptography. And I figured out how to... yeah, essentially. I like the red ones, personally. But I might also be biased because I like the color red. Well, I gave myself a crash course in cryptography. I was watching the movie U-571 and I started wondering, what does an Enigma machine do, and how does it do it? And then I started thinking, I can take numbers, break them down into individual digits, say if this digit goes in, go to this position on a table, and replace it with this digit. So then I was able to make a substitution cipher, taking six-digit numbers and making them into unintelligible six-digit numbers that are completely worthless. And then on the other side of the house, because I made a duplex system, on the other side of the house, you can take that unintelligible number, break it down into individual digits, substitute it back, and you get the number you started with. So now you can successfully send and receive encrypted number data that can only be read and interpreted by someone who has the system with the key built in to decrypt it. And then basically I decided that I have a system that masks the frequency for voice radio in Stormworks. I can't do proper secure voice because there's no way to manipulate audio files, so you can't change it from a base input data and then convert it into something else and then convert it back. There's no way to do that. kind of made like half of an Enigma machine, because I can only do numbers. And boy, was it a pain in the ass when I was figuring out why my system did not like negative numbers. So I had to rebuild the system to have like a switch that flips from positive to negative and have two different encryption systems just to make it work. That it took me forever to figure out that the reason it was messing up the grid coordinates was because I did not include a system for negative numbers. It can now handle negative numbers, but in retrospect, I'm going to have to make an upgraded version of it because it doesn't do anything with zero. Like, there's no zero position in the table for the substitution cipher. Realistically, all I would have to do is just add n plus 1, and it would all be corrected. But, matter of fact, it would be easier just to show you. Check this thing out. Alright, let's go to microcontroller. Alright. This is a simplified version. This is just the receiver side of it. It's still 10 channels, but this is the simple version. Yeah. Basically, I only made this... I made the parent system to work with one single radio system. Well, then I made this advanced IFF transponder, and it needs to get data from 9 different radio antennas. So you had to have, like, 10 instances of the parent system that this was derived from, and it was just a mess. I was sitting there, like, going cross-eyed, trying to line up every antenna with the correct instance of the transceiver microcontroller, so I broke it down into 2 different parts. Instead of the transceiver with 10 channels sending and receiving, I made it so that instead of it being a duplex system, I made it so there's a transmitter and a receiver. Dear God, what the hell did you say? The sad part is I don't even have the slightest idea. Sorry, I'm not a big enough streamer to have an actual moderator, so I just have the auto mod through Streamlabs, and sometimes it's kind of sensitive. But bottom line is, this had to take up less space, so I separated the transmitter and the receiver. And then you go right here. This is... Okay, this is the second half of the table. Basically, I have these tables that I learned how to make. Why would you need that? That is a very good question. The simple answer is, you don't. But I wanted to justify my existence as a cryptographic system technician, so I made it in the game, kind of like a spur-of-the-moment, can I do it? And then I did it, and I uploaded it to the workshop, and even though there is absolutely no reason whatsoever for communication security in Stormworks Build and Rescue, I made it a thing. And you can download this on the Steam Workshop. Well, you can't download this, because I never put the broken apart iterations of it. Like, if I load the thing that actually has this currently installed, right here, IFF Showcase. As you can see right here, this is what the secure data transceiver looks like. It's a 2x3 microcontroller. But I needed 10 of them for my advanced IFF transponder. So I have 1 transmitter and 9 receivers. So it was kind of like a need. So even though I don't have these controllers specifically on the workshop, this test set is on the workshop. And oddly enough, I'm pretty sure I have it. I have a link to it on my Twitch channel, like main screen. It should be in like the bottom of the socials links. But yeah, this is my abomination of an advanced IFF transponder. And what I mean by advanced, my earlier IFF transponder, which doesn't serve much of a purpose in the game, but it's loosely based on the types of things you would see on real military aircraft, where there are 4 transmitting modes. My system only has 3 transmitting modes, but I think mode A for me is... Matter of fact, let's just spawn it. We can find out. It's like, we'll find out together. I'm pretty sure A is just... Alright, let's turn on system transmitter. It doesn't need to be encrypted. Transmitter on. Mode A is the ID. Mode B is the grid coordinates, and mode C is the altitude. Oh, what vehicle could I possibly put it on? I will show you! I have put this on vehicles! I keep going through random spurts where I'll build, like, trains and things. Probably the best one to show you would be my improvised AWACS plane. Link 16. Alright, gotta go to the back. Alright, we are inside of the plane. Close that. Yeah, it should be my MOS. Yep, good to go. Alright, so basically, this right here is just the TACAN system. This right here is the map station, weather station. Oh, this is the IFF system. basically what it does is the ATC side sees 9 different radio antennas so that it can track 9 different vehicles simultaneously. So each ID that's kind of like functioning as a frequency has its own specific frequency. So if something is transmitting on that frequency, it can only be that ID number. So it's kind of simplified, but it's slightly more advanced in the sense that it can track 9 vehicles at the exact same time. And then the vehicle side, because this is in my AWACS plane, so we go over here, and where is the door code? And we go up here, turn on Avionics. Yeah, we just need Avionics. Okay, so turn on my secure integrated navigation system, which is currently my crowning achievement of bizarre, weird things I've built in Stormworks. Scroll over to the IFF transponder. We can stick to channel 1, turn on the transmitter, turn on A, B, and C. And now the IFF transponder is on. So we go back here, and you can see we have ID 1 bearing 022 and an altitude of 14. Does this serve a purpose? Yes. Are you actually going to use it? Probably not. Because in order to use this system to its fullest extent, you need 10 vehicles spawned in with advanced logic. It's just going to be a lag nightmare. As much as I love the game for having 1,400 hours in it, give or take, it's got some issues. So, are you going to use this system to its fullest extent? Probably not. But I put it out there so that it can be used. And if we go back to this thing again, we go right here. This is the secure integrated navigation system. As you can see, this is what you might call a clusterfuck. Would you believe me if I said that this is the streamlined and optimized version of what the system that came before it looks like? See, this is neatly organized. Allow me to show you its predecessor. Here it is. Oh god, I haven't touched this thing in 2 years. Alright, I guess in retrospect it doesn't look that bad. Okay, so the original isn't that bad, it's just this is bad. This system is a mess. I do not like this system. This is better organized and has way more functionality. Like, I found out how to make contextualized buttons for each individual screen. Basically, it has overlapping screens that have the exact same buttons, whereas its predecessor, it had different buttons that were only visible on certain screens, and you could use them from any screen whether you were looking at it or not. So it's only when I made this did I figure out how to contextualize it so that you have to have this screen set up and be pressing that button in order for it to do that thing. And this actually has more features than my previous one. The previous iteration of it only had the GPS, the TACAN, and the IFF system. That's actually very good to know. Although admittedly, I don't stream this one very often. I have made tons of videos of it just on YouTube, but I haven't streamed it very often. Normally I stream like other random simulator games. Just today I got the idea that I was going to make a completely new system. And I made it, and now I'm just kind of like messing around and showing off my other weird projects that I've made. Basically, I build things in the game that are loosely derived from things that I have real-life experience with. So, since I worked on radio-based navigation systems, in-game, I've made radio-based navigation systems. It's kind of like a weird, borderline obsessive art. If I knew how to use the logic in Lua, it might streamline it a little bit, but I have better luck using the logic blocks. I just understand them better. I even made a guide of how I use logic. Yeah, I was about to say, some guy named Luis is going to add functionality. I mean, he might, but who knows? Alright. So, I built a lot of radio-based navigation systems. I finally figured out how to change the colors on the map screen to make that unique. I made an IFF transponder, which most people outside of my field in the military cannot properly tell you what IFF is or what it does. I can. I've made a TACAN system, which I can also explain what that is and what that does. And I've made a radar screen, and I was so proud of the fact that I figured out how to cycle between, like, zoom levels. I still haven't quite gotten it, like, synchronized with a map to get like the zoom on the map to match up with the visible range on the radar, but baby steps. I might get there one day. I'm actually considering making a heads-up display, because as of right now, that's one. I need 4. As of right now, I've made some smaller aircraft. Probably my 2 favorite aircraft are the A6A Intruder and the EA6B Prowler. So I kind of made like an improvised version of them. Now, my version kind of sucks, as somebody was nice enough to point out on the Steam Workshop. It doesn't look exactly the way that the real one does. Like, for instance, basically the tail back here is supposed to be the exact opposite of how I have it set up. It's supposed to be like flat across to the top, and then the curve is supposed to be at the bottom where it curves up. But mine doesn't do that. I'm good at building radio systems, not vehicles. They don't look pretty, but they work. So we go over here to the pilot seat. As you can see, I could probably make do with some kind of a heads-up display. But I just haven't gotten around to it. Canopy. It's still freaking out. My newest touchscreen radio. I was kind of proud of that thing. Fuel. I have a lot, but not that many. It's only like 1,400. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I also have trains. I haven't made any ships lately. $12,000. Alright, you win. I just have 1,000, and I thought that was crazy enough. Actually, it wasn't too long ago that I finally did my the 1,000-hour screenshot of the things I've made. Oh, it's tap. I forgot how to use my own plane. Nose wheel steering, landing gear, landing lights. Don't need the APU anymore. I actually have not gotten into, I haven't checked out the drilling stuff yet. I probably should. But yeah. Since I was in the Marine Corps, most of my creations that are inspired by things that you would see in the Marines, I put sort of Marine decals on it. probably shouldn't call this thing an altitude hold system, because it's really not. I had to use the trim settings to counteract the weight of it. And then attempting to make the altitude hold system, something got mangled and messed up. It wasn't a good time. And then really, even though it has the biggest control surfaces, it is not nimble in the slightest, and it probably should be. But yeah, I've made a couple of things. Smaller fins work better? I'll have to give that a shot. Interesting. I've mostly made planes and helicopters, but I went through like a brief period where I was making insane amounts of trains. If you look on the workshops, a lot of people just spam 1x1 fins. Yeah, I can believe it. Started making train cars. I went a little bit crazier with the train cars when I decided I wanted to work for the railroad in real life, but that's also why I mostly stream Derail Valley and Train Sim World. In fact, let's go to the let's go to one of the rail terminals. Should be right here. Basically, I played Derail Valley too many times, and I started wondering, can I make a diesel locomotive? And I found out the answer is yes, I absolutely can, except it wasn't until I started playing Train Sim World that I realized that it's actually supposed to be diesel electric, whereas mine are just straight diesel. So if you look at this thing, which is probably like my crowning achievement diesel locomotive, it's like an unholy amalgamation between a GP38 and an ES44, and it doesn't really work like either of them. And basically I've just made a little bit of everything. Made planes, helicopters, trucks, trains, a couple of ships. I was actually supposed to be working on a ship. Got so many creations that are close to being posted. Like, my thing is that when I upload to the workshop, I guess I have like a different standard of what I consider to be like complete or finished. I get an idea for like a job or something that I want to accomplish, and then I set about trying to do that thing, and then once it does that thing, to the point that it doesn't have any like bugs or glitches, and it actually does the thing that it's supposed to do effectively, I'll upload it. I know that my creations don't look the best, but they all work, and they all do the exact thing that I want them to do. Like, this probably is not the most pretty of diesel locomotives, but it does its job. Like, I had somebody ask me about one of my trailers that I made for when I was making a lot of tractors and trailers for combination trucks. Somebody asked me if I would consider using that standard of interchangeability between tractors and trailers, and I went back and I looked at the description for what that standard uses, and then I was pretty much outright like, nah, I like mine better. My system separates the tractor brake from the trailer brake, so since mine has more functionality, I'm just going to stick to mine. But the good news is, because I have such a simplified standard for how all of my stuff looks, they're not as like demanding on processing. So I don't have too many like paint blocks or things like that, so there's not too many like little details that have to be loaded. It's all just like very rough basic shapes, so it's easier to do the job. While still looking like the thing that I want it to look like. Like if we go in here, turn on this, don't need to worry about either of those. Don't need to worry about those. Start. Close that. Cab lights, panel lights, running lights, headlights. Turn on the train brake, independent brake, reverser forward. Turn on the map. Pretty. As you can see, mine is very, very rough. But if we speed up a little bit, it should be able to get up to 110. And we're no longer getting wheel slip. $105. So yeah, this is on the workshop. As far as all of the locomotives that I've made, I am definitely the most proud of this one specifically. So I've just kind of accepted that the things that I build don't look the best, but they work. They do exactly what I need them to do and how I need them to do it. So that's just my general system of what I do and how I do it. Alright. The multiplayer island is right here. So yeah, I set out to build a secure video transmitter and secure video receiver. Although, as we've already pointed out earlier in the stream, it's more so secure-ish, because it's not actually encrypted in any way. It's just, it's transmitting two different things, or two different video signals on two different channels, and then the receiver is receiving video from both antennae, but it's only showing you the quote-unquote secure channel if you input the proper passcode and it matches the passcode being transmitted by the transmitter. I found out that the video antenna are always set to transmit, so I had to put in a relay to turn them off, so it's not just constantly sending a video signal out, and it's only transmitting when you want it to transmit. So put that on there. Ah, that's interesting. So by turning off the transmitter and by turning it back on, it blinks with a black screen before it turns into snow. But since we're still on the same frequency, we go over here and type in the password, and boom, you can now see the video feed. So basically it can only be seen by people that you want to be able to see it. So I was able to quickly patch this together. I got it to work, found out that somehow the wires were crossed and it wasn't receiving the way that I wanted it to receive. But I was able to get it working. So basically what's going to happen now is I'm going to do my normal thing where I take screenshots, get my thumbnail straightened out, and then I should have both of these controllers on the workshop, hopefully by the end of today. So I set out to make a new avionics system. I have successfully made that avionics system. And then I was just showing off my random collection of vehicles and things that I've got. Pretty much everything that I've showed is on the workshop somewhere, and the link is in the is on my channel page on Twitch. I might also have it on YouTube, but if I don't, just click on a Stormworks video, it's in there. But that seems like as good of a stopping place as any, so this has been Stormworks Build and Rescue.